Hello and welcome back to video number 3, Europa Universalis, in my Paradox Interactive historical playthrough mega series, playing a historical playthrough of Portugal to Brazil. My target country is Brazil, which is over here, in case you didn't know. And we're starting off as Portugal. This is, again, video number 3 in the EU4 segment. I'm Admiral Jedi. Let's get started. Now, at the end of video number 2, the previous video, we had just gotten done with, well, actually, I think I had declared independence. I backed that up a little bit just to kind of cheat a little bit and make sure that I have this nice juicy little fort here, because otherwise things get kind of rough and tumble. And I've got some cannons cooking up and everything. So we are going to declare a war of independence with our ally France, who is supporting my independence. Let's make sure they're not in any wars right now. They're not. That's cool. I did say in video number 2 that is historically not accurate. France did not help. England helped. But unfortunately, I have a hostile from Great Britain to me, specifically because they want South African areas here. And I would give it to them, actually, but I cannot trade them any provinces because I'm a subject nation, and I need to have their help to have me not be a subject nation. And if they did not have a hostile attitude towards me, it does appear that they would help me. You can see that negative 1,000 there because of their hostile. So we are going to roll with France in a historically inaccurate kind of way, but let us go ahead and get this party started. Viva la independent. Well, I don't even know how to say. Let's go. Now, continuing on in the spirit of historical inaccuracy, this Alfonso VI de Souza, that is not true. Instead, it ended up being the Duke of Braganza, who was named King João IV. So that kind of sucks. But I figured I would go ahead and just highlight that. We will go ahead and get started with our war. Okay, while we're warring, just a little bit of a reminder of where we are, where we came from. This didn't happen until the 1640s, so we're a little bit too soon. And we're in the middle of what's called the Restoration. I think that's the name of this video, even. And specifically, like I already said, the Duke of Braganza was put forward as the king. And all of this happened primarily because Spain promised Portugal, I think I said this in the last video, they're like, yeah, everything's going to be cool. We're going to have one king, but it's going to be 2 thrones. He's going to be the king of 2 separate but equal nations. And those promises really just did not materialize. People lost their privileges. Spain stayed focused on Spanish stuff. And Brazil just kept on Brazilin' it, primarily. There was some commercial advantage to Brazil in that they could trade through Spanish property territories. Gosh, what are they called again? Colonies to the west, including into Manila, which the Spanish did occupy at this point. Where the Philippines is here, right? I just did this in playing the U.S. in World War II in Hearts of Iron. So anyway, Spain does not own anything here, it appears. So that's bad, right? Okay, not historically accurate. Anyway. So there were some commercial advantages to Portugal, but that's about it. And so the people rose up, declared João, the Duke of Braganza, to be King João IV, and Portugal was in open rebellion at this point, which of course we clearly are. And we can see that we got our 1%. Woo! Now, I'm not going to try and conquer Spain. That's not what happened. In fact, this was primarily fought as a defensive war. Now, what I don't want to do game-wise, is let Spain rally this massive force and also have France get completely wasted, which, I don't know, maybe they are. What are you doing over here? Okay, they've got sizable forces over here. You know, this always cracks me up because they're supposed to be helping me support my independence, right? Ever seen on the internet those videos where somebody will have their dog in front of like a food bowl, and then they'll have people fake break into their house and attack the dog's owner just to see if the dog will respond to the person, and instead of the dog protecting their owner, the dog rushes the food bowl and starts like chomp, 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 like eating all the... This is what like AI assistants do in EU4. They're like, okay, we're going to war against Spain to declare my independence, and they're like, quick, invade Savoy! Like, go get them, guys! Like, okay. So, on with the war. The year is 1610. The war is pretty much winding to a close, which is good news. Unfortunately, we weren't able to fight the war terribly historically accurately. One of the most famous battles in this war was the Battle of Elvas, where the Portuguese, they really have an incredible military history where they were able to pull off some crazy, amazing feats of military strength with inferior numbers. So the Battle of Elvas was one of these major victories where 5,000 Spanish troops were captured. I believe it's in and around this area here, probably on this fort here. That would have been fun to be able to fight that battle as a truly defensive battle. But again, that didn't really happen. It just didn't work out so well. And also, we're ahead of our time. The Restoration, when basically they said the rebellion, the beginning of the rebellion was around 1640, but the final treaty bringing peace didn't happen until 1668. So we're half a century too soon. But that's fine. I want to go back to being my own kingdom and master of my own destiny. So all I've really done here is just say, okay, independence. I did do Spanish Peru will concede colonial Brazil. I didn't realize that they'd even taken that amount, but I want to leave that for my actual colony, because again, this is not just Portugal, it's Portugal to Brazil, right? So we will go ahead and send our demand, win our independence back, and we are once again an independent nation. So that is all good news. I'll deal with all this nonsense here shortly. Now remember, historically speaking, England came to our aid, not France. So what to do about that? To secure England's assistance, a very heavy price was paid for this. I think I mentioned this in video 2, but we'll mention it again. João the king, who's not João, not only is... Oh, he is a Braganza. Oh, excellent. Okay, and I made the heir João, so that's historically accurate. This Duarte is not. But anyway, his sister, Catarina, is it Catarina? Catherine, the Braganza, was married to the king of England, and brought with her a massive dowry of like 2 million cruzados, and also the entire province of Tangier. So, and Bombay, by the way, in England, India, excuse me. So, I am somewhat curious to see if we can do that. Now, I think Bombay is going to be like here. It's not named this. We'll deal with that later. But for now, let's take a look and see what we can do. Now, here's the real rub. Should I be fair to the people that truly helped us, or historically accurate and see if I can give Tangier to England, to Great Britain? What do you think I'm going to do? Well, if you guessed screw over France and do what's historically accurate, you guessed correctly. So, can we... Now, will they accept it? And the answer is no. Probably because they don't want it. Doesn't have their main trading port. Does not accept Moroccan culture. Okay, so they're like, yeah, hard pass on Tangier. All right, so I'll tell you what. Can we sell it to France? Now, can't you just gift a province? I think you can give provinces to your subjects, but I don't think you can give it to your to allies or anything like that. All right, well, let's we're still in France, right? Sell province. France running a deficit. Oh yeah, because they would have to buy it from me. Duh. Well, what I am gonna do, since Great Britain is like, yeah, no thanks on Tangier, is I am gonna give France a ton of money. So instead of 2 million cruzados, I am gonna give them 2,000 once I build it back up, and then basically see if I can sell Tangier to them or cede it or whatever. So I'm going to explore that a little bit further. I'll let you know how that goes. Understanding so much of Brazil's history, especially as we move past independence, Portuguese independence, really is about a lot of the international scene. So let's take a look. So first of all, Portuguese Brazil is looking healthy, man. It's looking good in terms of land. We'll talk a little bit more about the land in just a second, but I want to talk about some struggles, some EU4 struggles that we have internationally. So, first of all, caught up to 1640. I'd like to go all the way to the end of 1821. Not in this video, but I'd like to have 4 total EU videos, this one and then a 4th one. Looking to push this one to 1720 unless things get drastically out of hand. Spoiler alert, we need to have basically Portugal become pretty much occupied to become Brazil. We don't even have that option yet where you quote-unquote flee to Brazil. I'm going to get there hopefully in video number 4. But to understand that, we've got to look at who were the players internationally at this time. This size of Portuguese Brazil at this time, 1640, is way not historically accurate. Remember I said last video that Brazil really was along the coasts, and they pushed inward into the Cerro, the bush, and going deeper here, looking for gold, slaves, and all that sort of thing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But one of the big struggles that came was with Holland. And Holland ended up occupying a lot of northeastern Brazil at the time. Pretty sure they were on Bahia even. No, because this is where Salvador is, if I recall. So anyone Brazilian, I'm screwing up my geography or my history, go ahead and yell at me, please, in the comments. I'd appreciate that. But Holland, the Dutch, Netherlands, right? They really set up a lot of, they set up shop here quite a bit on the northern and eastern side of Brazil, and were a major challenger to Portugal. Unfortunately, they don't exist. I've been trying to get them to exist. I'm subsidizing them. I'm giving them thousands of gold. Here, let's just even watch it. I just like to give them, 2,000 gold. Every once in a while, let's just go ahead and do it. Hey guys, you want some money? Woo! I've got so much money, it's ridiculous. I have no idea what to even do with it. I'm literally financing terrorism across the world to try and shape things. I don't think Sweden was this big. I don't think Russia sucked this badly. Why does Russia always suck so badly? I don't even know who Gurkhani is. Do they eventually become Persia? I don't know. Ottomans are going crazy. I hope they implode. Austria always sucks in all my games. Every single time. I don't understand. There's no common blob that's been formed yet. I'm surprised it hasn't been formed. I'm off topic. So where I need to be on topic is the Dutch were major rivals of Portugal at this point, and I don't have that, unfortunately. Spain will continue to be a rival. France will eventually be a rival. And hopefully we have, if I can have them become revolutionary France, and they can then basically take over. That should hopefully be in video 4, and allow me to achieve the level of occupation that would let me flee to Brazil and basically end video number 4. But for now, I'm going to try and push this video to 1720. So even though this video is titled Restoration, which is indeed something that already happened, this was a time of contracting interests for Portugal, where they started losing stake in Asia, in India, in Africa. Something else that should happen is, I believe by 1649, the Tokugawa shogunate kicked Portugal completely out. They were no longer allowed to trade in Japan at all. So even though I do have Hizen, which is, I think, equivalent of Nagasaki, I'm going to let this die somehow. I'm hoping that rebellion occurs, and I don't know, I suppose I could increase autonomy here or something like that. So that, I want that to happen. Another thing that I've already done to be historically accurate is I ceded not Bombay, but Calicut, again, not historically accurate, to England, and that was to walk them through their missions, which I believe I successfully did, and giving them all the claims to this. So this should put them where they can go, hopefully start taking over India. Now again, why am I playing as other nations, or why am I focusing on other nations when I should just be focusing on Brazil? Well, that's because, like I said, the history of Brazil is deeply connected to Portugal's interaction with the rest of the world. Right now, Great Britain despises me, despite the fact that I'm giving them provinces. And really, it's because they want all those other provinces there. You can see it, right? Goas, they want Goa. Well, yeah, Minas Gerais, I'm sorry for the bad pronunciation. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to give them Brazilian territories. Like, back off. I actually did just get done going to war with them because they were embargoing me. So France and I went to war with them. And the whole goal of that was Great Britain was, what's that term? Guaranteeing the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Palatinate. And I want France to be able to occupy them so that France becomes, hopefully, extraordinarily powerful to come kick my butt in the 4th video. So, I'm rambling, talking a lot, telling you what I've done internationally. Let's go ahead and look to Brazil for real this time. And for that, I'm just going to obsessively focus on my Jesuit missions, which we should be able to do. Let's switch on over to the States. What are we at here? All right. So we're already, we already have now the Jesuits were, I think I explained this in video 1 or video 2, but the Jesuits were an order of Catholics who were very much educators, ministers, bureaucrats. Why are you doing this? Oh no, they must have done it themselves. No. Oh no. I can't complete my missions. Alright, I'm gonna have to just try and do as many Jesuits as I can, because they've decided they want to be their own person. Oh, this sucks. Let's see if I can, how many states I can squeeze out of this. What is this? Alright, I'm still colonizing. I want to get up to, what was it, 7? That mission said, I think? I'm obsessed with missions. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get it, am I? Hello? You cannot afford Why not? Oh, it costs money. Or it costs points. I didn't realize that. Okay. All right. I'm sorry to have you just sitting around listening to me ramble about stuff for forever. So the Jesuits are very popular in Portugal and Brazil until after what was known as the Pombaline era, which we're not really going to get to until video 4. And at that point, everybody got very suspicious of them and had them expelled. So we will come back to that. Okay, I'm glad this happened. This is a Portuguese British event. The Methuen Agreement. I have a funny story about how I mistakenly mispronounced this in Massachusetts. Ask me that sometime if you ever see me. Anyway, what it's hard to represent is Great Britain really became the naval power in the globe. Their naval power was ascendant. And having naval power meant you controlled trade. And so Portugal has had a long-standing beneficial relationship with Great Britain. And this agreement kind of cemented that. Let's just see what it says. Main purpose, treaty to allow free trade of English wool and cloths to Portugal in exchange for free trade Portuguese wine. I don't know if you knew this, actually. Little trivia for you. First of all, Madeira, here it is. Very famous for making wine called Madeira. Not sugar. They should have had, well, I don't know, maybe they grew sugar. But anyway, so little wine trivia for you there. And also, at a certain point, this happens later under Pombal, who protected wine that was produced in Porto. And that wine, much like wine produced in French Champagne, right? I've played France before. You'd think my French geography would be better, but it's not, because I'm not French. Where's it at? No. All right, if anybody is screaming, going up, left, right, I'm sorry that I can't hear you, but I'm trying really hard. Let's just say we can search for it. Where are you at? Okay, I was way off. Anyway, much like wine from this region is known as champagne, wine from the Porto region is known as port. What do you know? See? Who said you can't learn anything from watching my videos? Not me. Actually, I think you can learn a lot if you can stick in there. Anyway, getting back to the Methuen Agreement. The treaty, in effect, Portugal made Portugal an economic and political satellite of England, which is completely true. We can't really reflect that all that well. I am going to accept the agreement. Unfortunately, because of game mechanics, I'd gladly restore my alliance with Great Britain, but they're like, piss off, we want all your territories. Like, okay. I suppose I could go to war with them, have them drop their claims, and become an ally, and you never know, I might do something that crazy just to honor history, but not right now. So I just thought that was kind of worth talking about. Like I said, during the Restoration, Great Britain was the entity that helped fight them against Spain. And there was a long-standing historical friendship. In fact, one of the longest treaties and allyhood in all of Europe was between Portugal and England. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Do now. Moving on. Let us go ahead and look back to the East. This time period, especially because of military and economic competition and interruption with the Dutch, led to a period of somewhat of contraction. So the Dutch competed by way of a company known as the VOC. And that was an acronym, which I believe stood for, I'm gonna give this my best shot, Verenigde Oost-Indisch Company, which I'm pretty sure meant United East Indies Company, VOC, and that's who competed with the Portuguese. And so this was a difficult fight. For them. Unfortunately, as I've already pointed out, we don't have the Netherlands, which sucks. I've been really trying to get them, funneling money to them, Maybe I'll start selling ships to them or something. I don't know what I'll do. I wish they'd form it. Yeah, I was hoping that, I could provoke them into forming the Netherlands. Friesland, because Holland's not even around anymore. Just hasn't worked out. But anyway, this did lead to a significant contraction of Portuguese presence in this area. And even though a peace treaty was signed, some territories were even taken even after the peace treaty was signed. Specifically, Canamore was taken and Cochin was taken by the Dutch. Now, again, whether they had Calicut, I don't think so. That's what I gave to the British to behave like Bombay. And at a certain point, there was a renewed peace treaty that was signed, and basically Portugal just said, okay, you can keep them. Yeah, like, go ahead. Just stop attacking us constantly. And so by the end, the only territories that Portugal was left with on the entire Indian subcontinent, let's see if I can do this, was Goa here, right? And Diu and Damau. So I think this is probably Damau. And where Diu is, I have no idea. Let's search for it. Okay, there it is. Where is that? Here. Okay, and we don't even have that. All right. So eventually, by this time, Portuguese presence on the Indian subcontinent was way, way reduced from what it had been. Now, back to the west in Brazil, and again, there's no Dutch presence here at all, which is not historically accurate. Well, it was getting to be historically accurate around this time because eventually the Portuguese did drive the Dutch out of their... They had a hold on Pernambuco, and eventually they did end up having a naval victory, blockading them, and driving them out. I don't know exactly where it was from. Probably this capital area here. Now, they eventually saw victory, and in the ensuing peace treaty, the Dutch agreed to forsake all claims in Brazil, all claims, for a massive payoff of 4 million cruzados, which took Portugal almost half a century to pay off. But with victory over the Dutch, there was not a single other European power that would ever again challenge Portuguese rule in Brazil, and it set this country on its course to be the largest nation in all of Latin America. Woohoo, Brazil. We're getting there. We're getting there. Let's keep going. And we'll pay a little bit more attention to some of the history in this area. We've already expanded way too much. That was my fault, my subjects that did that. So these boundaries are pretty historically inaccurate. We practically own all of South America at this point, which is not super accurate. I did talk about Bandeirantes a bit already. Where are they mission-wise? Here they are. So I think I said that Bandeirantes were really like backwoodsmen. Backwoodsmen. And they would have small expeditions that set off from the Cerro, primarily from the Sao Paulo area, which I believe is around here. Somebody correct me if my geography is wrong, please. And for Americans, like I said, it was just like our frontiersmen like Davy Crockett or Simon Kenton, and they would venture off searching for gold, which of course was found in Minas Gerais. Where's that at? Okay, I thought we got this already. All right, let's switch over to areas. There we go. There we are. Here. And I'm pretty sure there's gold here somewhere. There we go. Ooh, lots of it. Lots and lots of it. So that's really great news. So we found it. And also, I think I also mentioned that one of the major things they would set off into the Cerro looking for was slave labor until it was forbidden for them to do so. Now, one of the largest and most famous of the bandeiras, these missions, was a massive 3-year journey conducted by Antonio Raposo Tavares, and it was called the greatest feat of exploration ever accomplished in the Americas, exceeding even that of La Salle and Lewis and Clark. And so a lot of these Sao Paulo expeditions started off from here, and woo, they're what pushed back these boundaries. They're what discovered these additional lands. So one of the other things, I can't remember if I said this or not, but I'm going to say it again, that in addition to discovering gold, they also discovered diamonds. And in fact, Brazil became the world's largest diamond producer at this time. So pretty awesome, huh? Go Brazil. All right, we're almost done. And so we're going to push about to 1720, so about 40 more years, and then we are going to wrap it up. And there will be one more video, a fourth video, and then we're going to be done entirely with Europa Universalis, moving on to Victoria 3. Okay, the year is 1700, and I think I'm going to call it. I'm running into some troubles. Portuguese Brazil is ginormous, and I don't mean just geographically speaking. Their liberty desire is headed upwards. They have 279 regiments, and I have 75. Okay, I could have some more. 11 more. Not a whole lot. You know, I'm not making a ton of people. I don't really need to. Already the Ottomans have declared war on me to try and annex me, and I basically just sat here and watched them, the war score tick up. That was kind of dumb. But in order to take the Form Brazil decision, I need to have a colonial nation, which I do, and I need to have fewer than like 3 provinces left on the European mainland, which I don't have that. So Portugal is completely intact. Historically speaking, we're going to talk about this a lot in the fourth video, but historically speaking, it was France, Napoleonic France, who came in and basically took over Portugal. I'll go through more of that in the fourth video. The thing is, that didn't happen for a long time from where we are now. It happened in like the 1790s or something like that, or maybe even the 1800s. But I can't risk it, because basically, if Portuguese Brazil rebels, they're gonna win. I mean, they're gonna waste me. And so I have to do this balancing act where I keep them content, which they are for now. But I've been placating them and losing prestige and all kinds of stuff. But look at that. I mean, I've got higher development than they do. But, where's the... I'm surprised that there isn't that sufficient, or that huge... Am I not seeing this? Mercantilism, opinion, trust, diplomatic... Okay, whatever. I've got to keep them placated until that decision comes along. So I'm going to make the decision to end this video now. I was hoping to go to 1720. We're going to end this video now. And video number 4, depending on how things go, could be short. So we'll see. That won't be the worst thing in the world, right? But we should be able to make the decision to flee to Portugal. I'm going to tell you what that's all about in video number 4. I hope you'll come back and watch me as we finally go from being Portugal to Brazil. We'll see you there.